generally met the above guidelines. However, Metro has allowed UPPT to change its proposal so that it no longer meets the original goals. It is not compatible with the neighborhood. The revised project demolitions the old hospital building. There is no landscaped amenity in this area, and the original required project advisory group composed of residents of the 5 nearby neighborhoods has been removed from the process because it did not approve the plan. They were replaced with biased members appointed by UPPT instead of by Metro or by the neighborhoods. Metro should either require UPPT to honor its first 2020 proposal or renegotiate with the other previous 2020 RFP developers, or issue another RFP to open the process to all possible developers. If Metro proceeds and approves the revised UPPT plan, then legal action will be initiated that will further extend this process. We encourage Metro to not approve the 2024 UPPT plan. Now, Martina Kaneki and Steve Porter will have some comments.
Martina, will you spell your name for us?
Martina Kaneki, Martina. Kaneki is Kunnecke. I'm president of an organization called Neighborhood Planning and Preservation, otherwise known as NPP. We stand here today on behalf of a community that is puzzled as to how this property has been handled. MPP has been in existence since 2003, and since that time, increasingly, the way our city is handling proposals like this has been very concerning. I have to say personally, after being at this for over 20 years, this is the most egregious mishandling of property that we have encountered. The community has been kicked to the curb. The city has gone against its own prerequisites in the original RFP. There is so much about this that resonates with other projects throughout the town since 2003. So today, MPP is happy to support this effort to get better solutions from our government. Accountability for poor stewardship is a big, big problem. The city is very fond of talking about how decrepit a property is, and yet who was in ownership of the property? It's time for the community to say, in addition to planning for new structures, we expect you to be accountable for the property we have handed over to you for your care. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Steve Porter, Porter, attorney for those involved. I'll be very brief. You've heard all the reasons why there's been a failure in this project, in this proposal. And I just want to talk about the law very quickly. This proposal came because of a solicitation of offers under KRS 45A.370. And we believe that those state guidelines, a state statute has been violated, and that gives us something to go to court on if the Louisville Metro does not do its job correctly. Thank you.
What specifically was violated?
What was violated is that if there are major changes in what has been proposed, then all the other, they need to do another solicitation of offers or allow the previous potential developers, there were 2 others, actually I think there were more than 2 that initially went in, but 2 that were chosen to submit, and they need to go back to them or to just the general public of developers to give them a chance to look at the revised proposal.
And I know that the message was sent to council members, to the city. How long until you would go forward with legal action?
We'll just see what happens with the city.
If the city approves the current plan, the 2024 plan, then we will file our lawsuit. And just to be clear, here is the 2020 RFP legal plan.
Go to the microphone, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. This is the 2020 legal UPPT plan that was submitted in 2020 based on the legal RFP that was submitted. This is the 2024 dramatically revised proposal that UPP recently submitted. You'll see the dramatic difference. You'll see here all the green space that we have here. You'll see that they are saving the 1924 original hospital building. It's very compatible with the neighborhood. This is what the neighborhood approved of. This is something that is mega urban sprawl that needs to be built out past the Gene Snyder Freeway. So you can dramatically see between 2020 and 2024. And the city has allowed them to do this illegally.
Is this 2024 proposal better or worse in your eyes than what's sitting behind you right now?
Well, again, for once, the city has allowed this to happen for 8 years. Okay, so it's been going on for 8 years. From a timing standpoint, it's the city's fault for allowing this to drag out. If the city had gone forth with the 2020 plan that was proposed and is legal, what you're seeing back here right now would have already changed, would have been great, been built, everything done. Instead, for the past 2.5 years, the city has allowed the UPPT to dramatically change their proposal, and we end up with this right now. So again, if the city had gone forth with the legal proposal in 2020, you would be standing in front of a magnificent complex. Instead, the city for the past 4 years has allowed UPPT to change the game, and it's totally illegal to do that.
I mean, I guess I understand you would prefer the 2020 RFP to this one from 2024, but given where you are now,
All the city has to do is go back to this. UPPT has already proposed this. Do this now. Do not do this. Do this.
I understand. But if you had the choice between what's behind you now and the 2024 proposal, what would you choose?
We want the 2020 plan. This is 2024. This is 2020. This can be done now. This can be implemented now.
Are you able to say, in terms of why it was illegal, was there any type of contract that was signed, or was this something that was verbally
Yes, when
said?
when the developers proposed on the 2020 RFP, yes, that was a legal document that they did sign and approve.
Who signed?
All the developers that submitted.
But is it just the developers, or were there neighborhood groups? I'm trying to understand why you feel like there was some type of agreement that had to be made between neighbors and developers.
Okay, yes, within the RFP, item number 4 that I read, there is a community agreement process called the CBA, the Community Benefits Agreement. And per the 2020 RFP, the city was to allow the neighborhood voices to provide input for what to do here at this site. So it was legal that the residents were to have been involved. The city has 3 times removed those residents. Now the CBA, the Community Benefits Agreement, only is composed of those groups that support this 2024 plan, not the 2020. That again is illegal to do.
Did it, I guess I would need to read it, but did it say that it needed resident approval to move forward? Or
Yes.
Was it just that?
Yes, residents had to approve it. And that's why the city routinely, any resident that voiced a opposition to what was being done here, the city removed them from the process. They silenced their voices. Yes. Totally illegal, totally wrong.
Steve, can you talk a little bit about projects obviously change over time from initial proposal to what actually gets approved by the council? Could you talk a little bit about why it is you think the word illegal is coming in here?
Okay, so
Things do shift over time.
as our attorney Steve Porter said, KRS chapter 45A-370 states that if a proposal is changed from what's submitted, from what they submitted, there are legal steps that the city has to go through to revise the plan to this. The city has not done that. The city did not go through the legal steps to change this plan. So what we're saying, if the city wants to go to this plan, they need to reissue the RFP and open it up. Or they can go back to the original proposal, which no one objects to. They can do this now. Or or they can go back to the other developers who submitted in 2020 and renegotiate with them. So so yes, legally, the RFP 2020 per Kentucky regulatory is a legal document, and it was all signed and agreed to by all the developers, including UPPT.
So have you all spoken with the Underhills, who they are the prior development group? Have they expressed willingness to reopen the can of worms here and go down?
It all depends on what happens with the city. It's up to the city as to how to go forward at this point. No, we're not preferencing one project or developer over another. We're happy with what UPP proposed in 2020. Fine, let's do that now. We can start these backhoes up now. If the city says, okay, we're going back to 2020, fine, let's go.
And have you spoken with them about the feasibility of making that 2020 plan work now, 4 years later? I know we've had a lot of shifts.
Yeah, it's very, very feasible to do, yes.
From a financial standpoint?
Yes. In fact, as you may know, UPPT is asking for $20 million in taxpayer funds to help do this project, okay? They can still do that project without taxpayer funds, okay? They're asking for $20 million from the fire department, from the police department, from our libraries, from our parks, $20 million to do this. Right now, office buildings, hotels, all the other things that they're proposing here are being built throughout this city right now without TIFs, without taxpayer funding, okay? So why does this developer get a TIF for something that other developers are able to build on a regular basis?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank y'all for coming out. It's not too hot today. It didn't rain, so we're all good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank y'all for attending today.
Alrighty.
Hopefully that was okay. I'm sorry I hogged the spotlight.
Oh, no, you did great. You did good. You've handled it.
I went over guys going.
Do I just pull it off?
There's
Does anyone who came in late, I had some handouts. If you want the handouts, I got those. Okay. Hang on, let me pull this off. Let me see. Did you get a handout? I want to make sure the media. I want to make sure the media gets one. Any of them?
Do you have like a copy of the contract?
Sure,
or-
I can send all that to you. If you got my email, just respond back to my email and I'll send everything to you that you need. Any of the other documents I can provide to you. And if you want the text.
Yeah, we'll share it with you.
Thank you.
So we're in the.
You don't get this what we're happening now. Like, something can change. They're not allowed. I mean, under the law, they're not allowed. So that's what I'm saying, that they can't proceed. The city's not compliant. So if they don't do the right thing, they're going to.
Okay, I did see like this.
It's full of old copper wire and stuff like that. So it's not uncommon that you see people hauling